happened so far in some of the Mag 7. See if there's anything worth reporting about or talking about. First on Meta, looking at it, we're having a nice little breakout above the trendy edge, but quite clearly, I don't believe that we're even out of the zone, if you will. So that would be the, let's turn the cloud on, apply that real fast. I believe the supply zone is pretty wide up here. Well, not too wide. We're out of it almost if we can get prices above 683. But this is actually a place for me. I was looking at, it, I was like, ooh, it looks nice, right? From the EMA cloud, but I'm not really interested in it because it's coming up into this supply or this previous sell off here. I actually like it better towards the weekly edge, or as I said this morning, in this green area. Since we're getting high on the curve, if we were thinking about a potential trade into earnings, which comes in again on 4/29, today's the 27th, we want to be looking at the put side when prices are moving up because the insurance is cheaper, right? So we'd be looking for a rollover potential move down into 656 and possibly 643. Those would be my levels for the downside. Okay. Other than that, really don't want to do anything. You could look at maybe selling some call credits here. I'm looking for it to roll over. Or again, just really picking. I love this area down here. I'm not saying we're going there, but this is where I like to buy. So typically that's where I want to trade into. So going over to the, let's see here, going over to this week, looking at the Friday expiration for Meta. While we're moving up, looking at that 650 by 640 level of imbalance, they're probably pretty expensive. Let me bring this over. Let's get right here. Pull up Meta. And we'll go into Friday, which is the 1st of May. Bring this down here. And we said 650 by 640. So I'm going to go right here by 640. That's going to be about $3 and you get a $7 return. So it's not bad. Matter of fact, I might pull one of those on right now. Just see how this plays out. Make sure I'm in the right account. Boom, let's go there. Okay, cool. Put one of those on and let's see. You know what I forgot to do this morning? I forgot to, because this might not send to you guys, I forgot to do my alerts, like to reconnect them. So give me 1 second. That might be what's going on here. Yep. Relink accounts. I guess the first one worked for today, but not. Wait a minute. Yep. So let me copy and paste this real quick. There we go. Okay, Control C. And I'm going to put this into the room. Unfortunately, like I said, I got to copy and paste it for now. Control V. There we go. Yep, I will definitely look at Google here in a second. Give me 1 second. And just so you know, Lester, the charts that we did this morning are actually in the off topic, and Google might already be in there, but we'll definitely look at it here in a second. But that's the put side to Meta. The call side, I really don't want to buy while it's going up. I'd rather maybe we pull back into the next 2 days into this area, and then I'll look for the calls. But, you know, probably 705 to 715, somewhere in there. Let me see what that looks like. 705 to 715. It's about the same. So it's about $600 for both those trades. And if one hits, you're only going to make $700. So not my favorite um, setup. I almost just like the puts just because I'd rather buy it lower. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll come back to the call side if we get a pullback. Okay. And we'll do that. We'll roll right back over into Google. Current price is up, 592. We made a new all-time high. So we can move this up. We can see that the trendy edge held as support. This morning I said, this is a nice, this is one of my favorites, just the way it looks. It just looks really nice and powerful. Up $6 this morning, even with the market being like, looking like it has a hangover. The 5-minute, let's just look at it, the PMZ this morning. So looking at the PMZ, you could see that the risk was really, really tight. Once prices came down into the trendy edge, they held what was support. Depending on how you would have approached this, conservative, you wouldn't have went long. You wait for a close over the PMZ, it flushes real fast and then moves up very nicely. It looks a lot like the market did this morning, where we have a lot of volatility on the open. And unfortunately, just, if you're intraday or scalp trading, you're kind of getting wicked all over the place. But I like the bigger picture on Google, and I like it, down here at 340. So, like, my idea for this is we want to find demand. Okay. We want to find demand. What's up, Tony? How are you, man? So let's look over here for some demand. This is actually an inside and up. Yep, right in here. So I'm going to come down just a tad. Let's go right there. Yeah, we'll put it back where it was. I need to change it. And right in here would be the area that I'd be looking for Google to come back into. Okay, so right there. Right. And that's 340 by 330. And then to the upside, and this would be nice. I mean, I would prefer, something like this, more of a pullback, like that, and then boom, something like that. Looks like the old cup and handle, right? Just like that. Doesn't mean you're going to get that first. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and we could do something like that. But we have to use extension targets using Fibonacci. For me, I would use the Fibonacci extension. I would go from the gap here to the high, and I would double click, and that's going to give us these targets to the upside. So 23.6 by the 50 is what I like to use. Sometimes I use a 38.2. In this case, I'm going to use the 50. That's going to give me 360 by 375. Now with price already at 351, these are going to be expensive. I may need to come over to the weekly and grab a Fibonacci extension from the 4 weeks, man. Just go to that previous high, and that might do us a little bit more. We're going to go to this 23.6, use this 50. All right. Man, Google's doing so well. This is one of those where, man, I love buying time, and instead of trying to nail this perfectly, I almost would rather buy several weeks out and buy like, something in here to give us more time, or even, going out to January 2027 doesn't mean you have to hold until January 27. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you were to get 50, 100% or something like that on one of these bigger trades with more time, it's your money. You could do what you want with it. You could take it off. But I really like the idea this up towards the round number of 400. I really do. So, when I think about that out loud, I'm thinking into January, 385 by 400, something like that. Give me 1 second here. And these are $5. These are really inexpensive. I mean, seriously, guys, 10% is $35. We could be at 380 by earnings. You know what I mean? Or after earnings. I'm not saying that will happen, but this is a pretty inexpensive trade here for Google. And it allows me, it's 15 wide. So um, in this case, I can make 900, about $1,000. I can make about $1,000 for every $500 that I spend. It's not bad from a risk reward. And what I like about it is if I buy into January 27 and we do get the pullback that I want, I could go ahead and buy some more. And if this is $5 and we pull all the way back, say into these lower areas here, then I could probably add, my idea would probably be something like this. Let's go ahead and put it down to the plan itself. All right, the plan itself. I like 385 by 400. I might want to make it wider, but total allocation, because I'm out of the money here, um, total I want to buy equals, I'd say 1,500 to 2,000 because I'm so far out of the money, with this idea. Um, so I would do that and, start with, $500 here, which is it. Well, so that's 505 by, 545. Let's put an order in just to see if we get it. If prices come down a little bit more. Let me put a dollar sign there. Okay, add. I'll just say 339 all the way down to 320, So look like that. And then so this, since we're going to the end of the year, it will look something like this, right? This would be 2000. We're just going to call it 2027, January 2027 target. See, to me, guys, this is a lot easier to trade into earnings. You have a lot of time here, and I can afford to be wrong, and it only costs me $500, compared to like buying something closer dated, $500, and then it expires. This gives me a lot of time to plan and do different things around these numbers. So let's go there. Short-term target. I mean, really, shit, this could happen into this week. I mean, just for fun, right? Just for fun. Let's see, 385, 535. Let's do, and I could see that prices are going up. I don't know. Let's try confirm. Am I in the right account? Let me just make sure, guys. I gotta make sure I'm in the right account. Okay. Yeah, let's see. There we go. And then I'm gonna take this. So they're still not being sent over there for some reason. I'm not seeing them. Let me make sure that everything went okay over on this end. Oh, I don't think I hit done. All right, now we're good. Should pop up pretty soon. So let's go ahead and I'm going to copy and paste that. Now these orders are going to come through twice, guys. I apologize. Because since they didn't kick out to you immediately, I'm copying Control C, and then they'll come through on the API once this connection comes through. I apologize. It's my bad. And let me go ahead and put this chart in there. Well, I want to put our hedge in. I mean, the hedge, let's go to a smaller time frame. The hedge could be all the way down, into this gap. I mean, you could use this, but I think these are going to be expensive. Um, 325 into 310, somewhere in there. And because we've been up for 4 weeks, I feel like I'd want to buy a little bit of time here. Give me 1 second. Different hedge spots. I'll just put that hedge. Uh, for this week. And then down here, this is an inside and up as well. Kind of like this area right there for the other hedge. Like if we want to buy out a little bit of time. Okay. So 320, say 320 by 310 for 15 May. Just want to see what those cost. Let's see. Those are only $1. Really got to drop quite a bit. I mean, 320, that's $30. So that'd be 10% to the downside, right? Man, but they're so inexpensive if I buy two, right? So half of what I paid for the others, this would pay me $1,700 if they had a bad earnings, which I don't think they're going to have a bad earnings. And that's why honestly I'd rather go with this trade is because my conviction just isn't there and it's super inexpensive. And quite frankly, we can do one of these. That's it. And if we get lucky, and that I am saying luck because it's pretty far out the money, we could make if I get this trade for $112 and these guys dump, I can make $800 and it finances my long-term position. Now, let me draw this so you can see what that looks like if it were to happen, right? Bad earnings, boom. Does that look like it's impossible? It really does not. Okay. It really, and there's my API alert. Sorry about that, folks. There's my actual alerts from the API. All right. So, I mean, I think that's definitely possible. The problem with some of these sometimes is if you're right, um, there are areas where I'd want to get long. So what you can see is like something like this in earnings, and we're over here, getting super excited, and then it pops, and then we're kind of in between. So you lose money here, and you lose, temporarily, you're losing money on the long calls, right? Because they've gone down in value. So that is definitely possible. But I like this. I like this trade. It is definitely something that I don't mind putting $100 into. Um, let's just talk about the other idea would be hedging yourself for here, 340 by 330 and just buying this week. Okay. And if we were to do that, forgot they have 0 DTEs. I was looking over. I was like, man, that's really cheap. For Friday, 340 by 330. That's 262. So you're not buying a lot of time. You have 68% implied vol. You're going to pay about 270 and you can make 739. So that's not a bad trade, guys. Not a bad trade. I mean, it's really inexpensive and it pays. This one also pays for uh, the trade. But, you know, what is my favorite level to get long at? Right? What is my favorite level to get long at? That would have to be down here. I'm gonna go with the one that's that's 15 May. I'm sorry. He's a gambling man. Let's go 320 by 310. What I said? Yep. $1.18. Let's do it. There we go. Pretty far out the money. 15 May. Let's see. Let me take a look at spot. I don't want to get too carried away, you know. I did this about a year and a half ago where I bought all these earning trades, and honestly, it turned into one of these things where the market, instead of having big moves, it went sideways. And then looking back, I'm like, damn, dude, like that costs a lot of money, you know. So let's see here. Let me look at one thing real fast. Give me 1 second, guys. Need to look at something real quick. So Daniel, I'm asking why I only got one put there. I should be in multiple puts. All right, let's take this copy and we're going to put this under, this is Google, right? So I'm going to put this picture in both of these. Let's see, Control V, is that it? Yep. And we'll put it under the put picture as well. Control V. There we go. All right. So that is Google. Then we're going to move up here. Let me go ahead and take a look at Meta one more time. Meta. And let me see if I got a chart for you guys. I don't think I put it in under this alert. There we go. Okay, cool, cool. So Meta, you can see that we hit that level and we went straight down because I think they were up like $7. I mean, you could probably come in here and actually trade. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now that we're down, now I want to be thinking about the upside, right? And potentially, what did I say to the upside? I know I had a plan, didn't I? The frick? I thought we wrote something down. Did I not write something down for Meta? Thought I did. Hmm. Yeah. Um, I think I said 7:10 by 7:15 or 7:05 to like 7:15, somewhere in there. So let me just take a look on the call side. This is my favorite level. I'm trying to find a really, really good zone. The monthly, it's where it's at. It's about right here. And with Meta being a $700 stock, there's no reason why we can't use this level. I think I'm going to go to this candle though, right here. Yeah, that's going to put me at 7:15. All right. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to clean this up so we can kind of understand what's going on here. That's my hedge. And I think this is a nice target. 7:15 now. let's see. Hmm, maybe we come down a little bit more. I'm trying to see. So their earnings are on the 29th, so we still have a couple days. An ideal that we could come down to 668 or so, maybe even 657. That'd be awesome before their earnings. But my target would be 710 to possibly 720. And that's about 290. Let's go right there. I'm going to buy a little bit more time with this one. Okay. Now listen, in a perfect environment is we would drop immediately. We get paid on the puts, and then we buy back the short side of the calls. And then over the next couple weeks, Meta goes all the way up to 750 or something. That'd be amazing. Now, this trade obviously comes with risk, about 600 bucks worth. If we just go completely sideways and the market digests for the next couple weeks, you could lose on both sides. Okay. And that's where some people might elect to sell credit, into a earnings trade. Okay. But the setup itself, puts to the downside, short term calls to the upside a little bit longer, 18 days, if you will. And if you want, actually, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I sort of wanted to make the puts not as wide. So I'm going to, let me just try something out here. Let's do, so if we come into the trendy edge, that's 635 by 625 or 635 by 630. What do those look like? $6.35 by $6.30. These are only $1.30. Okay. Yeah. And so I think that's probably what I want to do, guys. I apologize. I think I want to buy a smaller on the put side for Meta because this trade as it stands, I can only make $700 on one side, you know, and that just means the trade would probably be more break even. So I'm just going to make this let's go with that. Add group. Let me call it earnings. There we go. Baby, turn the lights low. So I'm just gonna take those quick profits, put side, and then I'm gonna come over here. I'm actually gonna go a lot further down. Okay. And buy these. And this actually pays for the trade. So I'm going to put that on. If you don't care about the $600 of risk, obviously you can just keep that on if you like. But the idea here is, if we explode to the upside, right? I'll get, like, say we go way past my targets, we're in the money, we're going to collect, probably $500 to $600. And that dollar something to the downside is not a big deal. If we break down really hard and actually come down into this area, we're going to finance the call side plus make a little bit of money. So I like this for the better trade. Um, so I'm going to go a little bit out of the money there at 635 by 630. That still puts me in the green zone. And it's really not that far away. I was a little too close there on the put side. That's fun for like a day trade. But for this type of trade, I want to be sitting a little bit differently. So, okay. All right. So Meta, Google. All right. And let's look at Spot. We'll look at Spot. I do like some Spot. And I haven't not looked at Spot in quite some time. Looks like a reverse ACDC. So we'd be looking for prices to move down to 475 just from, that basic setup that we have. Let me look at the higher time frame. Higher time frame is inside and down on the weekly, followed by lower highs, higher lows, sideways action. You could see that price over here came back to this really nice candle and popped off of there. That would have been a great place to go long and make some money off a spot. Kind of got off my radar there. And then far as, let's go one more time frame higher because I'm not really seeing anything. There it is right there. There is your monthly zone that we've come into a couple times. Or sorry, just once. Eh, depending on how you look at it. If we do the classic, it's been in there 3 times now. Okay. And if we do a more modern approach with less risk, right here. Okay. Making higher lows off that, and we're holding the lower yearly edge. So you know what that's going to get me to right there? It's going to, Lester, it's going to make me say, hey, I'm looking for prices to, get here. It's a longer term play for me. So in a demand zone, at a lower yearly edge, man, whew, Lester, I'm looking for, 611 with some time, then 744. I'm at least buying 6 months here. I think these are pretty expensive, but what a choppy mess, man. Holy moly. Holy moly. So today, guys, I made $103 on the MNQ, $75 on the ES futures, and I lost $31 on MES, but I'm probably going to try MES one more time. So I think I lost, I won on MES, then I got bad kind of slippage, and then let's see, let's go over here to maybe I'll get an opportunity here to try another aggressive. The aggressive is not, I mean, the aggressive did work our first trade, but it's not, we're making lower highs. I wouldn't be shocked if the upper part of the PMZ is actually resistance, but we'll see. And okay, good. I said, ooh, baby, turn the lights low. Yeah, so maybe I'll be able to take another trade here on the MES. I don't know if I really need to. I mean, typically all I'm going for is $100 or $1,000 a day, depending on which ones I trade primarily. But in this case, I've already hit 175 minus 30. So let me see, Daniel. No, that's not good. That's way too wide, man. That would be our first target out of there. So if we got long at 71.90, we should be trimming our calls at the money by the time we get to 71.95. If you're going long there, that's literally right into our target, man. It gives us a nice, I mean, that kind of gives us a 1-for-1 up into the line in the sand. All right, so we went over. So I like spot. I like it long term. The issue is for earnings. We could do. It's sitting at $500. I have to go to a smaller time frame. Look for the potential here. I would say, and this one's probably going to move quite a bit, but it is a AC/DC reverse, and I would be pointing for 480 by 475 for this week. Let's see how much those are. Implied vol is 100%, by the way. So kind of expensive, man. 485 by 475. You're paying $380. Wait, $340. Wait a minute. 485 by 480. Okay, $2 to make three. I just don't like it. The implied vol is too high. And long term, let's just say we want to go for the mid at 611, and probably half of that since we're at 5, so 550s, at least 6 months out. That would put us into, man, I can't believe this. We're almost like my choice is 16 October, which is less than 6 months, or going to December. Can you guys believe that? I mean, are we really already almost 5 months into the year? Holy crap, Batman. All right. And then when you start looking at 18 December, for like the 550s, man. These are $7,000. No, thank you. So I just don't have a trade here right now, guys. Sorry. Nvidia, is up about 700 bucks a contract here. 230 calls for 17 June. We have 416 days. Um, mm, here's entry risk 16 points on the NAS, which is not a lot, and we're at, the ESPMZ, so this could be a nice little trade, perhaps to the downside. I don't think I want to trade anymore, though. I just don't want to get caught up in a bunch of chop. We put on some good trades so far here, I think. So we'll just stay calm, calm. Yeah. Microsoft. Okay, cool. We got Microsoft too. Awesome. So we got Microsoft. We're gonna put the calls, even though these are not technically leaps. I'm gonna put these into the leap section. And then my puts, I'll put those into the hedge section. So what I mean by that, guys, is I have sections within my monitor tab that I label them: leaps, hedge, futures, closed, earnings, swing with equity, swing with options. My closed is like when something just kind of goes to crap and I don't want to look at it anymore. I just send it over to the closed section. Yeah. What's up, my guy? What is up? How are you, man? Hey, Matt. Ashley goes to Colorado, man, this Friday. If you want to do something for your birthday, man, I could take you out. Maybe do something early over the weekend. Just let me know. 10,000, Vincent? Man, thanks for reminding me too, Vincent. Where is this really cool? See, so when you gave me that thing that has all the cool charts on it, what happens when I shut down, it goes away. So I don't know where it is now, but I think you sent me a new one. And for anyone that asked me to share Vincent's screen, because it's not mine, I didn't send it to you by email. You would have to ask Vincent. He knows that I have the indicators, right? So he doesn't have to worry about, changing anything up. And plus, he has some of his own indicators on there, and I just didn't feel like that's fair for me to send you his stuff. So let's go over to, yeah, get a little bit of a sell off there on the Nas, like I was saying. Let's come over here and There we go. I couldn't find. Let's see here. Yeah, birthday's next week, man. Sorry, guys. Had to type something up real quick. Vincent, Melissa, Leslie. Love it, Leslie. Give me some info on Scorpio, man, please. What, Vincent? Really? So you're saying I should go long or no? Let's see if we can get a trade. I like how it's so take a look, everyone, at I'm gonna bring you over to the futures real quick. See how we're building in the PMZ instead of like first thing this morning, where it's just like boom, a rocket ship and then boom, rocket to the downside. Now we're building. These actually make me feel a little bit more comfortable going long out of these instead of like big extension candles. Um, looking at ATRs or normal trading ranges of 5-minute candles, 3-minute candles, like get an idea what looks normal and what's not normal, right? These are pretty normal in here, pretty normal. They don't look too bad. I don't like when we shoot through a PMZ and the candles are really big and then we try to go long because if it's outside of the ATR, almost more than not, we always revert back. And when we start reverting back, if you're ticking or you're taking the longs at the highs, you kind of get burnt, right? So I like that we're kind of chopping around in here. Maybe we're building up for a push up into these smaller levels, 71.93, 71.95, and so forth. Okay. But one thing is definitely remaining true is that the 2-hour zones are exactly where we're trading into. And I don't know if JK is out there, but JK, this was a great, learning lesson for today coming into the market, seeing how tight the ranges are and how we just have stayed between them. So, oh man, that chart hurts my eyes, Vincent. What in the world, man? Mm-mm. Looks like a Cody chart, right? Are you using the map stuff? Yeah, I figured. I think I put it on my chart one time because it's free for a couple different tickers, but left it alone. Too much to look at for me. I think I need to hedge Nvidia. Let's look at that real quick. I think I already tried and ooh, nice one. How about 220 by 235 for earnings? Just make something fun. Don't you like fun? Ooh, I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired today. Anybody else tired? How you guys feeling? I feel like the energy kind of is not great. 220 to 235. Yeah, I feel like it's a really slow day. I feel like everyone's kind of quiet. Sometimes we have those days. So, 220 by 235. Let's see what that looks like. When is NVIDIA reporting? Is that like, we still have a long time, huh? 520, 520, 520. 22 May. I mean, it's pretty extended. I say we wait. If it can get over 212, maybe I'll buy these for a, more of a momentum breakout type of trade. We're almost at, is that all-time highs on NVIDIA? Shoot. That's what I'm talking about. Vincent. Dude. Okay, Vincent, let's talk for a minute. I came across somebody's long thread on Twitter, I guess, the day after his earnings. Did you listen to his earnings? I did not. I never listened. But did you happen to listen to it since you are an investor there? Okay. This guy claimed that whatever Elon said, man, he just keeps going back on his word on everything. And he said the earnings call was terrible. Is that true, man? I mean, how did you feel about it? And it was a long, good write-up. This is from somebody that's been an investor for a long time and just said he pretty much has given up on Elon. I don't know if that's, but I mean, look, market's going down. His is going down. That's typical for people to say stuff like that. Earnings call was terrible. He basically threw a wet blanket on everything good about Tesla. Why? Why was he doing that, man? Try to drive price to demand. I mean, the thing is, he's just not making anything happen for anyone anymore. And dude, as a driver, I listen, I know I bring this up a lot. I mean, I bought the car for 135,000 or whatever it was, and I'm the first one to be bullish on this, man. Like tell me what the problem, like, why is my car still having all these mess ups constantly, man? It feels like it gets worse. It really does. It feels like the software gets worse. SpaceX is more important. Yeah, he's not good at the calls. You guys can see I went long here, right? We'll see if it works. It feels like one of those days. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Let me see what I got. 30 bucks. If I could get back to zero, let me put up here. Let's see if we can get up to, we'll just leave it alone. This is not, don't follow me. Just do you, but I'm taking it because it's setting up. Okay. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Yeah, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. Are you tired too? Yeah, Papa John's tired. I'm tired, man. I love you. Brent, it's better for SpaceX company if Tesla's down. SpaceX more important to him right now. Yeah, but you still have, due diligent, be a good person with all your investors who are in Tesla. Like, why is the guy like getting rid of the best cars, right? Why are we not seeing improvements in FSD? I'm not. It's doing like this really hard braking now, and it also speeds up big time right into the rear end of people. Like it used to have nice distance between it. I don't know about you guys, but my car's like getting up on people and then like braking hard. That is not how I used to. Uh, I didn't have that experience before. Yeah. hmm And my windshield wipers always come on. Is that part of anybody know? Vincent, do you know? Your windshield wipers always click on, dude, when it like when you're about to do when FSD. Is that normal? Vincent. Yeah. Sorry, Vincent. I'm like picking on Tesla and you're trying to like, not sell your shares. I'm not telling you to, but I have not. They're in my grandkids' account, but I sold my shares this year so that I didn't have to be so stressed out with these fools, man. I'm gonna be really real with you guys. I love driving the car short distances. That's why I got it. But but I did actually think about selling it the other day. I was like, do I really want this car? I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. Hey, baby, what you doing? You want to have some lunch? I think I'm gonna get some lunch, guys. I'm gonna jump off here, and I'll come back a little bit later. I'll announce something, but I'm gonna have some lunch. Talk to you guys soon.